You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy episode 639.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door. With your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from the APG Road Vessel Studio. Today's show is recorded on the week of November 11th, 2024.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Put your light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, a 737 catches fire after an emergency landing. And in California, a private pilot makes an emergency landing on a highway.
I'm still running right now, but I know I'm out of fuel.
Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 639 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter. Currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain. And joining me, speaking of captains, from his studio, a former professional photographer, but still very avid, serious amateur photographer, former RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you for that incredibly smooth introduction.
You're welcome.
Show 639. There was an RAF squadron, 639. That was an anti-aircraft cooperation squadron. So a bit like our show, really, very anti-aircraft.
Yeah. Okay. That's it? Okay.
That's it.
All right. That was good to know. Thank you, sir. And also joining us from her studio in Toronto, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer. It's the lovely Liz Piper.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see everyone here in the chat room.
Yeah, I am,
And
too.
you two guys.
Thanks. Yeah, good to see you, too. All right. Well,
Hi, Liz.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for
Going
all
to the back
fish.
channel, so to speak.
Stand by for news.
Well, hang on to your hats, especially if you're going to Haiti via
You're
the
not
U.S.
going from the U.S.
Yeah.
You're not going now.
Oh, yeah, you're not going now because they shut that dang thing down because
Shut
people
her down.
getting shot at. Let's see. The Federal Aviation Administration prohibited U.S. airlines from flying to Haiti for 30 days after gangs shot 3 planes. And the United Nations also Tuesday temporarily suspended flights to Port-au-Prince, limiting humanitarian aid coming into the country. Bullets hit a Spirit Airlines plane. Oh, man, it just keeps getting worse for them, doesn't it?
It does.
Didn't I just see something today that they are basically filing for bankruptcy for sure, or very close to it? So bullets hit a Spirit Airlines plane when it was about to land in the capital Monday, injuring a flight attendant and forcing the airport to shut down. Photos and videos obtained by the Associated Press show bullet holes dotting the interior of the plane.
I've only got the exterior photo.
Oh, no. So she's going to show some exterior photos like that one right there. How can you tell it's Spirit?
I don't know. It's some yellow airline.
Yeah,
huh?
really
Yellow?
bright yellow. Yeah. but no interior images. But they got some of those too, and they actually hit some of. I think I saw some pictures of hitting a bulkhead and also some of the overhead bins, and I think they ended up hitting one of the flight attendants as well, grazing a flight attendant and causing a minor injury on one of those flights. The shootings were part of a wave of violence that erupted as the country plagued by gang violence swore in its new prime minister after a politically tumultuous process. UN spokesman Steffen said the agency documented 20 armed clashes and more roadblocks affecting humanitarian operation during the violence Monday. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm upset with the new regime, so I'm going to go and take my gun and start shooting at airplanes landing.
There's Americans. Those American
I don't quite
planes.
understand the logic myself, but there you go.
Yeah, would it be Liz is kind of saying, they're American airplanes, so maybe that they're upset. Did we have something to do with the recent regime change there?
I'm not up
Well,
on
we probably
Asian
did.
politics.
We probably did. Yeah. So maybe I can understand why they
I don't
might
think
be
it's
upset.
fair targeting the UN, that's for sure, particularly since they bring very necessary aid into the country. But
Well, the way they constructed that sentence, you would think, and that's what I was thinking when I was reading it, that they shot at United Nations airplanes as well, but it was a very poorly written sentence, and they said that the United Nations did some, temporarily suspended flights, but the only airplanes that were actually hit by gunfire were U.S. airlines. I think Frontier and Spirit.
Spirit, American Airlines and JetBlue,
Oh,
I believe.
Okay, let me correct myself. No Frontier. Maybe Frontier was on the way and then they left, or they ended up landing there, but
it
they
would have
didn't
been a
get shot
perfect
at.
place for an
Wild-
airline
the
called
Wild
Frontier,
Frontier,
wouldn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah. No kidding.
So who did suspend flights? Obviously Spirit.
Now everybody
American?
has been.
Yeah, anything under the
FAA's done it.
jurisdiction of the FAA. So basically everybody that flies there. But you're right. I should have been on the gun here. I have my Stream Deck quite yet set up for all the sound effects, but I can probably find it using
Don't
the
you just have a
old-fashioned
gun lying
method.
around you could shoot off?
Well, yeah. I got a gun right here, right sitting next to me. Let me see if I can. Oh,
Don't forget
Oh.
to
There we go.
open the window first.
yeah. That's what we're all about here.
Yeah, but they'd be saying whatever yeehaw is in French because they speak French there in Haiti.
Would it be something French? Oui.
Yee wee.
Yee wee. Okay.
No, they're more like sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. Yeah. All right. What else to say about this other
Sorry,
than,
French people.
if you're, I don't know what to say. Just don't fly there.
No. Well, that won't be.
Okay. It's just interesting because you don't normally hear too many instances of civilian airliners being shot at. At least
No,
I
that's
don't.
true. But do you remember the plane tale about the 737 that landed on the edge of a embankment?
Yeah. In New Orleans.
That captain.
Yes.
Yeah, that captain had been quite badly injured
And his
flying
eye.
an airliner during a revolution.
That's right.
And he was shot at and
Yes.
injured.
Yeah, Rick was telling
so
us
there's one we know of.
because Rick knows the
In fact,
guy.
I think he might have even lost an eye or something.
think he
and
did.
Yes, thank
yeah,
you. I was just going
exactly.
to put that one up.
Yeah, so Neil says, and the air marshals didn't open a window and fire back. Get out of the way, and then you shoot out the window here and shoot back at
Have
these
a
people.
gunfight.
You'd think it was America over down here in Haiti. Gosh. All right.
Okay, moving on.
All right, moving on. Let's do this one then. It's a video. Well, I have some video to play, but let me first read a little bit of stuff. This is sent in by Sam Dawson. Did you put that in there, Liz, so that I could skip it?
Yes.
Because Sam
I thought you
Dawson
might
sent
want to.
Well, oh well. He says, interesting. My guess is a lithium battery fire, but we shall say. Okay, so it's.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. You're down in Sao Paulo there, aren't you?
No, I'm on Lake Lanier in the Shady Grove campground.
I know, but I think you skipped over.
Oh,
the
did I do
Taipei
that?
one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Taipei
Okay.
first.
All right, let me do this then. Okay, the next item in our news segment, and the reason I know that is because it's numbered 01A2. It involves, this is from the Aviation Herald. It's an incident involving an Airbus A321-200 at Taipei on the 31st of October 2024. And they had some issues landing or trying to land an airplane there during a big storm, a typhoon. Let's see, it was a Starlux Airbus A321-200 November registration Bravo 58206 performing flight 871 from Okinawa to Taipei. They had entered a hold due to weather and subsequently positioned for an approach to Taipei's runway 5 right. The aircraft touched down at 17:34 local time, but bounced and touched down a second time. The left wingtip contacted the ground before the aircraft became airborne again and went around.
Visualize that. I wonder what that looked like.
You're having a hard time visualizing that, Linz?
I am.
Oh, well, here, let me see if this helps. See, runway all lit up. Oh, yeah, he's kind of going sideways there.
Golly.
All right, and touchdown, big bounce, and then the left wing drops significantly.
Bye-bye.
Huh. I wonder why the left wing dropped like
I'm
that.
out of here.
That's weird. And then later in this video, well, maybe not. I thought there was more to it where they actually successfully landed.
It's real short.
Okay, well, that's good because this is the important stuff that we just covered that first time around. They went back out and gathered themselves and said, you know what? I think we should give this another shot. This time, though, when we kick out the rudder, let's go ahead and lower the right wing to keep from the left wing hitting the runway. Easy for me to say now that I'm not flying anymore, but that's what I would do probably.
Armchair critic.
Yeah, I know.
Now, there's a bit of a contradiction in this story, isn't there?
Yeah,
because it says definitely the left wingtip contacted the ground, but a detailed inspection then revealed no damage to the wing. So there you go.
Really? Who did the inspection?
How detailed was it? Yeah.
It doesn't say. It just says a detailed inspection has been performed.
By the airline who didn't want to find it.
Exactly. I bet the airline did it.
I've attached the wing inspection photos for your reference. Well, we don't seem to have that, sadly.
We don't have them. I didn't see them.
We don't have them.
Steph? Can you get the...
No, it's that Simon Hadraki. Where's that Simon?
Simon? Oh, Simon's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it says, of note, at such speed and force during a landing, the wing would not remain intact if it had made contact with the ground. Well, I beg to differ.
What?
It's quite... And happened many times before that someone scraped a wingtip along the runway. Well, it's in the bit in italics before the weather.
Yeah.
But
okay.
It's the airlines report. 1st of November, the airline reported.
That's I'm waving the BS flag on that one.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
So obviously we didn't touch the runway because the wing would have fallen off is effectively what they're trying to say.
So are there any instances in the past where airplane wingtips have hit the runway and the wing hasn't fallen off?
I don't know. I'm going to need both sets of hands, fingers and toes to count them. And we're going to run out of those, that's for sure.
All right. So what we're saying here then is that there's nothing to see here. Move on.
Exactly.
Why are you covering this on your podcast?
No fault by the airline.
There's nothing went wrong here.
But the airline also says that the Taiwan CAA is looking into the possible hard landing, not the wing. In addition, all results have been sent to Airbus for analysis. So
Well, we'll see what they have to say there in Toulouse.
They may
Yeah,
not
I'd keep an eye out to see if they want to buy any new green bulbs for the left wingtip light.
Hey, you have some green bulbs in your right in front of you there in your
left
studio.
Is port. Red bulbs. Sorry.
Okay, red. Well, yeah,
I've been up red.
you probably
Yeah,
have
the
some red
green.
ones too. But he was showing us some of his Christmas decorations in his studio.
Flashing away behind
we
me.
recorded.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Now, Sam's.
The wind was pretty strong. Have you looked at the wind on these METARs? I mean, it's gusting 55 knots generally.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it's good 30 to 40 degrees off. So,
Yeah, that would be a pretty high crosswind.
Yeah.
I would imagine that they probably, the A321, I'm not sure what the crosswind guidance is on that, but I would imagine probably somewhere around maybe 40 knots or something.
The 340 was over 40 knots, but I wouldn't know. We'd have to ask a 320 expert to find that.
Captain Al, where are ya?
Well,
where's
I think
Captain
that we've discussed this several times before on the show, but for the airline I flew for, those crosswind demonstrations during certification became actual limits for us. But I don't think that's true with most airlines out there. I think that they remain just demonstrated crosswind guidance. And if you want to try to do something higher than that, then good luck to you.
Yeah, 38 knots is what I can find on land.
Okay.
Sorry, online. I'm just trying to find out what the wet runway limit is.
Oh, Neil.
Where's your slip and slide?
Naughty, Mr. Neil
I
Landlord.
know, I saw it. That was too rude. I was
Yeah.
bringing it up there. I was offended.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see why you'd be offended.
You got your slip and slide thing there? He's looking for a wet runway.
Slip and slide. Okay. Let me see if I can find that. I'm pretty sure I can find it. Okay. It's like probably under S. I wish I had them in alphabeutical order. That would have been easy to find. Know where
Jeff,
I know where that
I
is.
found this. A crosswind limit.
Come outside. Everybody ready for a wild wet ride?
Slip and slide.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Wet runway.
Well, a wet, slippery crosswind limit, and water more than 3 mil, and it would look like it was raining pretty heavy, but that limit would be 20 knots for the 320.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
way over that.
And
So it's dependent on if they were reporting the depth of water on the runway, which generally most airports don't get around to doing that because no one wants to get in the Land Rover and go out in the rain.
No kidding.
And with their ruler and measure it in between landings.
Was it 3 milliliter? 3 millimeters? That's not
3
very
mil,
much.
yeah.
That's very.
No, it's not very much at all. No, that's a very small puddle, 3 mil.
Well, they say that as little as 1 milliliter of water in an F1 Pirelli tire makes a huge difference on pressure. But that had nothing to do with aviation. It has more to do
Did you
with...
say milliliter or millimeter?
I said milliliter.
Yeah, we're
Because
talking
it's volume.
millimeters over here. Well, we're talking depth.
Yeah.
We were talking depth of...
Well, I know you were,
yeah.
but I'm talking volume here in the tire. And again, this is not an F1 podcast, so
Thank
sorry.
you so much for sharing that.
You're
Jeff.
welcome.
That was
I thought
fabulous.
you might want to know that.
I'm making a note of that. I really.
Okay, good.
Okay, next one.
Next
Sam
one.
Dawson.
Okay, here's the one from
Sao
Sam
Paulo.
Dawson. I thought by now you would have gotten rid of it, but it's still there. So let's go ahead and cover it. Looks like this happened recently in Sao Paulo. Sam Dawson says, interesting. My guess is a lithium battery fire, but we shall see. And so let's see ourselves. See what he thinks here. Whoa. Some fire on that airplane.
Fire on board.
Hot back there. And the guys
Look at
climbing
those
up.
guys. Do they have a boarding pass?
Probably not. Oh, yeah. A lot of damage toward the back there.
Total Airlines is totally engulfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been totaled.
Yeah,
that hull is totaled.
Aircraft.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good. So we're looking at images or videos of this 737 that was a cargo version, freight hauling version, and as Sam says, he suspects that they may have had some lithium-ion batteries in the thing.
Well, this is a 737, so I reckon the hamsters in the wheels, they just spontaneously combusted. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Could be it.
Hotfoot.
Now, was this a MAX? Because then you could just blame it on that.
You certainly could. I don't know is the answer.
Okay.
I can't find that information. Oh, it's a 400 SF.
I feel a title coming on there.
All right. Why can't I get rid of... Why I'm trying to remove that thing. Okay.
I'm removing it. It was
Thank
my
you.
Picture.
Oh,
That's
that was your picture. I thought that was still the video.
No.
Okay.
That's old news. We don't need that video no more.
Okay. Well, also.
Okay. So total cargo.
Okay. Total cargo totaled. All right. Another video. Oh, we're going to maybe save that one for Steph.
Maybe for Steffi.
All right. Let's, the one that you can't wait to cover, Captain
I know,
Nick.
this is Nick's favorite.
No. Oh, wait a minute.
Do we really need to do
fella.
It's up to you guys. It's up to you.
Why not?
Oh, okay. Here we go. This is from the Aviation Herald, and it's a preliminary report involving, is it Batik Air?
Batik,
Yeah.
Okay. Batik Air Boeing 737-800 at Canberra descended below minimum safe altitude. So let's see. They're performing flight 6015 from Denpasar, Indonesia to Canberra. Am I saying that right? Canberra?
Canberra, yeah.
Okay. Was on approach to Canberra when the crew elected to enter a holding pattern at Mombi. So maybe you can throw that image up there, Liz. It's from one of the, it's kind of, I don't know if it's on that one or not. Let's see.
There it is. There's Mombi.
Oh, there's Mombi. Okay.
There's Mombi.
So they're entering the holding pattern as depicted there in the image. During the hold, the aircraft descended below the minimum safe altitude. The aircraft continued for a safe landing on Canberra's runway 35. In Australia's ATSB rated the occurrence as a serious incident and opened an investigation stating that, they're investigating a flight below minimum altitude involving a 737-800 about 19 kilometers south of Canberra Airport, Australian Capital Territory. On 14 June 2024, the aircraft was operated by Batik Air as Flight 6015, as we mentioned before, flying from Indonesia to Canberra. During an instrument landing system approach, the crew elected to hold at waypoint Mombi. During the holding, the aircraft was operated below the minimum holding altitude. On September 4th, the ATSB released their prelim. Let's see. So they departed Denpasar International Airport, Indonesia, for the inaugural passenger transport flight of a new service, brand new, to Canberra, Australia. The captain was acting as pilot flying. The first officer was acting as pilot monitoring. A second captain was also on board. Well, there's your problem. Acting as a relief crew member, occupying the flight deck jump seat located behind the flight crew during the arrival and the approach. As the aircraft climbed to cruising level of flight level 350, the crew input forecast winds, which included strong tailwinds, into the aircraft's flight management computer. The crew noted that the estimated time of arrival into Canberra was prior to 0600 local time, when Canberra Tower and Approach Air Traffic Control began providing services for the day. So they were going to arrive before ATC services were in effect. The crew elected to continue without any en route delays and prepared for an arrival without those air traffic control services using the Canberra Airport Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. Well, they actually didn't use the Canberra Airport Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, the CTAP. As the aircraft descended towards Canberra in darkness, so it's really early morning, the flight was cleared by ATC to track via the waypoint AVBEG direct to Canberra Airport. Okay, here's the instruction. Track via the waypoint AVBEG direct to Canberra Airport and descend to flight level 120. During the descent, the flight crew prepared to conduct the AVBEG 5 Alpha Standard Arrival Route, STAR, but did not make a request to track via the STAR to the Melbourne Centre Air Traffic Controller managing the airspace. Okay, so I don't know why they decided to fly the STAR.
I don't know
arrival.
why they decided to fly. Bum 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 bum. Sorry, keep carrying on.
Okay, good. But they did. They decided, let's go ahead and do that, even though they instructed them to go directly from AVBEG to the Canberra Airport. At 5:41 local time, as the aircraft approached AVBEG, ATC cleared the crew to leave controlled airspace descending. The aircraft crossed AVBEG while descending below flight level 205, commenced tracking via the AVBEG 5 Alpha Star. The Melbourne Centre Air Traffic Controller identified that the Batik flight was deviating from the cleared track and noted that the aircraft was descending toward a restricted area. The controller did not query the flight crew's deviation. I think you should have, but asked the crew if they were going to remain clear of the restricted area. So if they had gone directly from AVBEG to the airport, they would have avoided the restricted area. Let's see. If you'll do the one before that, Liz, I think the restricted area is in that, Romeo 430C over there on the bottom left part of that depiction there. That's the restricted area.
The star goes right through it, though, doesn't it?
It does. So I guess they can use the star when that restricted area is not active. Is there an altitude? I can't read. It's so small. I can't read the altitude limits.
The altitude is 4,500 to 10,000. That's
okay.
Seems to be the area it encompasses, or the height it encompasses. And there's a descent restriction. You're not allowed to go below 10,000 by Lanyo, which is just past the restricted area. So long as you stay, that'll keep you clear of the restricted area because you're not supposed to go below 10 till you've gone past it.
Okay. All right. So let's see what they did. The controller acknowledged the tracking advice and instructed the crew to maintain 10,000. Okay. To remain above the restricted area. After receiving this instruction, the flight crew became uncertain as to whether the aircraft would be operating within or outside of controlled airspace during the STAR and approach. The crew leveled the aircraft at 10,000 with the autopilot engaged, and the aircraft passed over the restricted airspace. Okay. As was required by ATC procedures, the controller waited until the aircraft was observed to be more than 2.5 nautical miles past the restricted area before instructing the crew to continue the descent to leave controlled airspace. The crew responded by advising that they would descend and continue tracking via the STAR. At about this time, again, they were never cleared to do that. The crew noted that the aircraft was about 1,300 feet above the desired descent profile for the arrival. At 0551, the crew requested ATC clearance to conduct the instrument landing system approach to runway 35. The controller responded by advising that the Canberra control tower was closed and that CTAP procedures applied for that airspace. At 5:51 and 38 seconds, the aircraft descended below 8,500 feet outside controlled airspace. They were in Australian Class G airspace. As the aircraft was higher than the desired flight path, the captain decided to conduct a holding pattern at the approach waypoint of Mombi to reduce altitude, and the first officer requested ATC clearance to hold at Mombi. The controller responded by providing traffic information for the Mombi holding pattern. The crew then again requested clearance for the ILS approach, and the controller responded by advising that clearance was not required because there was no control. They were. This was uncontrolled airspace at this time of the day, but that the crew must broadcast their intentions on the Canberra CTAF, Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. The aircraft passed the arrival waypoint Menzie while descending below 6,720 feet and soon made another request to hold at Mumbai. They're just not getting the fact that they're no longer in controlled airspace. They are in control of what they're doing, or they should be. The controller provided traffic information for the hold and requested that the crew make a right-hand orbit to remain clear of the restricted airspace, now to the west of the aircraft. As the aircraft approached Mumbai, the captain entered 5,400 feet AMSL, the approach's minimum safe altitude, before intercepting the ILS glide slope into the autopilot mode control panel. And at 5:54 and 15 seconds, the aircraft descended below the minimum holding altitude of 5,600 feet AMSL. Okay, so in other words, he should not have entered 5,400 in the altitude select window at that point, because they were still in the holding pattern above some high terrain. And so basically,
It was a 200-foot difference between the platform height at Menzie inbound for the ILS and the holding pattern.
Not much.
And the reason for that, of course, is that the ILS is obviously pointing at the runway and you don't deviate. In a hold, you've got a much larger area where you have to keep clear of high ground. And that probably gave it a slightly higher minimum altitude. But the captain obviously didn't tweak, because I have to say this is not the best drawn plate I've ever seen. The hold is up in the top right corner, and the minimum altitude for the hold.
Next one, Liz.
Next one, Liz. Top right corner. There are two minimum altitudes. One, if you stay within a DME limit of 14 miles, and the other one, you can exceed that limit, but then the minimum altitude goes up to 6,000 feet. I suspect the crew sort of didn't twig that, because there's nothing written on the hold as such that's in the middle bit, the picture. So, we want to give them any break for that? Probably not.
Yeah. So, yes, we were discussing this before we started recording today, and Nick was making the point that it didn't seem that, as far as the altitude was concerned, not
egregious.
That big of egregious. But the thing that we both agree was egregious is the fact that they didn't seem to understand how to perform procedures when air traffic control is not controlling every aspect of your flight. The ATSB reported that the captain was an instructor pilot.
Oh boy.
By the airline. The first officer and the relief captain in the observer's seat had 6,800 total and 11,100 or 11,295 total. So they had some experience flying these airplanes. From 1998, they added this, from 1998 to 2010, the captain was a pilot in the Indonesian military. And in that role had conducted operations in uncontrolled airspace. Yeah, but the military uncontrolled airspace is like, it's different than civilian uncontrolled airspace. I think you'd agree, Captain Nick. It's like,
definitely.
We'll just do whatever the heck we want.
We never told anyone anything about it.
Exactly.
Top secret.
Yes, top secret. In 2010, the captain commenced employment with Batik Air's parent company, Lion Air. Okay, they were the ones that had the first 737 MAX incident. And then he moved to Batik Air in 2013. From 2010, the captain had not undertaken any flights within uncontrolled airspace. Okay, so
a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's 14 years?
14 years, yeah.
First officer and relief captain reporting having no experience operating in uncontrolled airspace. All crew members had previously operated flights to Australian destinations. So I guess, and they didn't really, I assume here, they were kind of getting onto them because they really didn't brief this thing very well. They were assuming that they were going to be in controlled airspace all the way.
Yeah, I don't think they realized that the airport hadn't opened.
Yeah,
at their arrival time, and they hadn't twigged.
Oh yeah, they did make a choice. So en route, they calculated because of the tailwinds that they were going to be arriving before. So they were somewhat aware that the ATC services weren't going to be there, but I don't think they quite grasped exactly what that means. So I think they probably received some further instruction regarding operating in or non-controlled airspace. But that's the part. Now, we made the point. I think the lowest point they got over the terrain in that holding pattern was just under 1,000 feet, 9,000 some odd feet. Nick, did you?
Yeah, 9,025 odd feet.
924. Okay.
It was 9,024 feet. Yeah.
But only 900 actually.
900
above ground.
Sorry, 924 feet. Yeah,
gotcha.
My apologies.
So that's not super low. But my point is, did they really even know? Did they have any idea that they were below 1,000 feet above the terrain at that point? I'm not sure. I think they were so confused about what they were supposed to be doing. I think it's kind of evident. In their radio transmissions, they kept trying to get the controllers to clear them for various things, and they go, "You're on your own. We're not open yet. Good luck."
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the concern.
And what's more, at that point where they were quite low, I don't think they were established on the ILS. They were still angling in towards the localizer, and they were probably going to pick up the ILS at Mombi or even a little bit further on. But there's a 12, because they let down to 4,700 feet, which is a kind of an intercept point, the sort of final approach. Well, it's not a final approach fix, but it is a fix on the ILS, which is Mombi. So they descended down to that height before they should have done, really, because even if they were on the ILS, they should have started at 5,400 feet and then gone down and done 12 miles, 5,100 feet, and then 4,700 feet at Mombi. So they went down to a platform height that was probably too early and too low for the procedure. So they definitely weren't really flying it very well. And in addition to that, they weren't making the required calls to advise any other traffic going in or out of Canberra at that time that they were on the approach.
Yeah. And to point out, I was looking at that approach plate again. The 5,400 feet for the ILS glide slope intercept is no lower than 5,400 feet. They could have stayed at the higher altitude in the holding pattern and just stayed there and intercepted the glide slope before that, but.
Yep. I don't think they picked up that was the minimum hold altitude, 5.6.
I think you're right.
I have to say it's not in the most obvious place on the plate, but it is there under the hold details. And that's only if you don't exceed 14 DME, which they did. So they weren't flying this procedure very accurately or very well, come to that. So even initially flying the arrival through that restricted airspace when they'd been told to go elsewhere, they had obviously when they programmed the arrival into the nav computers, perhaps that's what came up for this arrival. When they typed in the AVBEG 5 Alpha for this particular runway, it came up with that green line. So they basically went, we're just going to fly down the green line. We're not going to go to the airport like you asked us to, because that's too hard.
I think that they didn't really, I don't think they understood that was what they were supposed to do. And I think that you can partially fault the controller for not, when he noticed that they weren't tracking directly to the airport, why didn't he say, the only thing he said is, are you going to be clear of the restricted area? He didn't say, why are you not proceeding directly to the airport? I think some blame should be put on that controller, but that's just me.
Yeah, but I guess he wasn't really controlling them, was he? He was just giving
initially
them
he was until they dropped below 10,000 feet. Yeah.
Yep, that's true. So it didn't go well for them, but they've classified this as a serious incident.
Serious incident.
I don't know if it really warrants that, but they made sufficient errors for it to be investigated and for them to be subject to some retraining, and particularly since the captain was an instructor pilot who should have known better, and the guy in the third seat was another very senior captain who should have known better.
You're right.
I'm a bit concerned at the standard of the crew's knowledge. Maybe they were probably visual throughout this, so there was no real danger of flying into the ground. They could see the airport. They could see what was going on.
True.
They were flying below the procedural altitudes to fly this instrument approach. But in reality, they were looking out the window, seeing the ground. So, yeah. I don't know if... another thing, they talk about... The Australians love to nitpick the speed limit for... Well, I'm not kidding. The speed limit for this arrival was 170 knots to fly around the hold. Otherwise, the hold gets too big as they... the turning circles become too big. And they made a point of saying they were flying at one point at 171 knots.
Oh, you're
and
kidding.
at another time, they got to 172 knots.
Oh, my God.
So 2 knots over the limit speed.
Talk about a deviation.
And I'm going, is that really relevant? No, it's not really relevant at all.
Well, an Australian airline would never make a mistake.
Oh,
or
no,
anything
Australian
like that.
Airlines don't make those mistakes at all.
Virgin Australian aren't Australian,
Now I'm wondering, Nick, if is there anything like below the classification of a serious incident? I mean,
not serious.
Maybe, not so serious, kind of serious. Maybe they felt like they
Slightly
had to call
serious.
it a serious incident just so that it was brought to people's attention.
Slightly
and
serious.
Yeah, slightly
I
serious.
think you're probably right. But it just made it sounds like they're inflating it a little bit to make a point that they don't like people doing this.
But it didn't take.
By the way, if it had been me, I would have slowed down and made sure I arrived after 6 o'clock. Because I just do not see the point of hammering down with a big tailwind, getting there before the airport opens, and then having to make it up as you go along. So I think that was their first
how much
mistake.
earlier were they running? I mean, like 10 minutes?
They were only like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes before everything opened up.
Yeah, because the tower actually opened while they were on the approach, I think.
Gosh.
So they didn't have to hang about that much longer.
So you know what, guys? We'll wait for the final report because this is only the preliminary report. So I'm sure there'll be a final report.
I'm sure the final report will reveal a lot more, Liz.
A lot about those speeding problems and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Virgin Australia, they're a really good airline, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Virgin Australia, they don't have any issues there in
none whatsoever.
Australia, like Brisbane, for instance, on the 3rd.
But it is another Boeing.
30th of November, 2022. Well, there's your issue right there. Virgin Australia, Boeing 737-800, registration Victor Hotel, Yankee Foxtrot Hotel, performing flight 324 from Brisbane to Melbourne, with 169 passengers and 8 crew, was accelerating from takeoff from Brisbane's runway 19 left when the aircraft rolled past the displaced end of the runway and became airborne only in the section of the runway that had been closed due to works in progress. Red flag. The aircraft climbed out without further incident and continued to their destination. Yeah, hopefully nobody noticed what happened there. Yeah, so between November 29 and November 30, they had a NOTAM, I guess, that 831 meters of the southern part of the runway were unavailable due to works in progress. Again, the ATSB with their darn serious incident labels decided to slap one on this one too and open an investigation. Did they mention how fast they were going? I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Let's see. November 5th, they released their final report. And so they basically talk about the fact that the flight crew did not identify critical performance data that was appended to the Brisbane NOTAM that stated that the runway length reduction for 1 right, 19 left was affected by this closure. And so basically, I guess they put in the wrong data, right, in their computer?
I believe that's the situation. I mean, the mitigation here is that the NOTAM where this information was concealed was titled Runway 01 right threshold displaced. And then further on in that paragraph, it mentioned a significant run reduction in the length of the runways 01 right and 19 left, which was the one they were going to land on. Because of the title,
Takeoff,
the captain dismissed this NOTAM. He went, well, that's not the runway I'm going to use, so I'm not interested in that, and skipped through. And this is where I have an element of, quite a strong element of sympathy, because we know just how tough it is to get through all those NOTAMs and how poorly they can be. How poorly they can be written. And this was a classic example of, a NOTAM which should have been in absolutely plain language that the runway had been shortened. This runway has been shortened, and it was just, not easy to pluck out. And considering the volume of NOTAMs we always have to go through on a flight, it's tough. However, and the dispatcher didn't make a big thing of it. However, that they did actually have a second chance at establishing the fact that the runway they were going to use had been significantly shortened, which because they had time pressures and distractions and they'd already thought that they'd read the NOTAMs, they didn't bother to read them a second time, which would have given them, including the dispatcher's note, which would have given them a second chance to pick it up. So, that was a bit damning.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's just another example of...
That's what NOTAMs are. They're just a bunch of garbage.
Yeah. We've said it so many times, and people are aware, and, ICAO is aware that the NOTAM system is broken and it needs to be properly reorganized so that, you don't get led down, a rosy path when one doesn't really exist because of poorly written NOTAMs.
Yeah.
But the NOTAMs, boy, the NOTAM system is really messed up. I can tell you that right now.
I agree 100%.
Former chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. Love that guy.
Robert Sumwalt.
Yeah, Robert Sumwalt. Yes, Liz, you were saying something?
While you're talking takeoffs, maybe you want to go down to number G, and talk about that takeoff problem.
Okay, since we're talking about takeoffs, our producer suggests that we talk about another.
Oh yeah,
this is a good one. Okay, hang on. Let me get that queued up.
While you're setting that up, I'm just going to mention that it's suggested that, of course, having already dismissed the NOTAMs relating to the runway, the crew they had developed a mental model that the displaced threshold for runway 1 right had no effect on the performance for their runway, which was 19 left. And that model, once they, all right, I've fixed that, that's in concrete now, they never really reviewed that mental model to see whether it stood up. And that's something we all have to be aware of. That's one of those things we should discuss in threat analysis and threat mitigation, how to avoid making that kind of mistake. Sorry, Jeff, do carry on now.
Oh, no, that's a good point made. Thank you.
We've had a few incidents from Aerosucre in the past.
Yes, we have. Liz is mentioning this.
This is Air Sugar. Yeah.
Air Sugar, yes.
Yep.
Aerosucre. Sucre. Accident at Bogota, Bogota, on November 10, 2024, just a few days ago. Overran the runway on takeoff. That's not the first time we've seen this either. And impacted an ILS antenna, and we have some video to prove it, and you have to watch it very quickly because it doesn't last too long. Here we go. Boom.
I watched it as quickly as I could.
Okay, let's watch it faster this time.
Whoa!
Okay, one more time.
Those damn 727s.
That's 727 guys. They're a bunch of cowboys.
Dreadful. I'm sure it was the flight engineer's fault as well.
Yeah. Got to blame it on somebody. Blame the engineer.
727 flight engineers.
Obviously, he didn't do the
curse them.
Takeoff data correctly. The 727-200 freighter was performing Flight 372 from Bogota to Valencia, Venezuela. Was departing Bogota's runway 14 left when the aircraft overran the end of the runway, and after becoming airborne, just barely, contacted a localizer antenna before climbing out to safety. The aircraft entered a holding pattern before returning to Bogota for a landing on runway 14 right.
What speed did he fly in the holding pattern?
I'm trying to find the speed in the holding pattern. I'm not seeing. Oh, this was not Australia. This was
they don't
Colombia.
care in Colombia.
No, Colombia. They plus or minus 50 knots.
100 knots. Yeah.
Or 100 knots. Yeah. Did you show the damage to the aircraft?
Right
okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Put down that Twinkie and slap up that image there. There we go.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a little damage to a wheel, tire.
The airline's not going to be able to hide that one.
Yeah. Well, we did an investigation and noticed no damage.
No damage. No. Mm-mm.
Yep. And there's no damage to the antenna assembly at all, as far as you know. Yeah. Can you put that one up there, or do you not have that one?
I don't have that one. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, that shows the antenna array in disarray.
Sorry.
Very good.
Is that where they got the term?
There you go.
Yeah.
It was in disarray.
That'll be in the show notes if you want to look at it. Yeah. Okay. Aerosucre.
Strike again, literally.
At their, at it again.
At their finest.
Okay. Do we need to do any more? How are we doing on time?
I think we'll just do H and then finish. We'll leave F off.
Let's. Radio Roger.
This is specifically for you, Jeff.
So
Planes
obviously,
in Auburn.
Yeah. So Radio Roger knows that I attended and graduated from Auburn University, one of the most prestigious
it's where those hooligans come
universities in the southeastern United States, if not the world.
How about the galaxy?
Or the galaxy, yeah. Or the universe, let's just say. So I think that Roger is trying to pimp me or something. I don't know. Let's see. The 2024-25 college basketball season got underway earlier this month, and Auburn men's basketball is already stirring up drama as the number 11 Tigers made their trip to Houston to take on the number 4 Cougars. Reports emerged about an incident that occurred on the flight Friday night. The pilot of the flight diverted the plane back to the departing airport due to a fight between Tigers players. Auburn eventually took a second flight to Houston on Friday evening, reportedly landing in Texas around 1 a.m. local time. They didn't get a good night's sleep, I guess. And I guess the two that were involved in the fight, the two players, were not on that particular airplane.
So this is two players on the same team.
Yeah, on the same team.
She's not against the opposition.
No.
No,
It's friendly wrestling, friendly fighting.
I guess. Well, let's see. The Tigers freshman forward Jackie Howard and senior forward Jaheim Hudson were allegedly the two players. I guess Hudson, the elder senior, transferred to Auburn from Southern Methodist University in the off season. and only scored 2 points and had 2 rebounds during the Tigers season opener. However, the young guy, the freshman, is a former four-star recruit from Georgia.
Is that like a 4-star general?
He scored 7 points with 4 rebounds. They were probably talking
Rivals.
about what they were able to do in that first game, I guess.
They're talking smack.
They were talking smack, and one of them didn't like it.
They didn't take kindly to it.
They started hitting each other. Yeah. Anyway, so they returned to Auburn University Regional Airport, which is between Auburn and Opelika, and the police were there to meet them. And I don't know. That's really all to it.
I like this bit where it says the altercation occurred in airspace, not in the jurisdiction of the Auburn Police Department.
Yeah.
So they put their hands up and said, well, I got
we can't do anything. Sorry.
Yeah, no, nothing to do with me.
Just shake.
On the
Shake
FAA.
hands.
Obviously, you haven't read the Tokyo Convention on air law.
Well, yeah, this is Auburn, Alabama. They're not going to be up to speed on that, I'm pretty sure.
But don't they have a big aviation department?
They do.
There?
They have a big aviation department there. I have a degree from the aviation department, aviation
there's
management
your
degree.
problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess we don't really need to say anything else.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, thanks, Radio Roger.
Nick? It's a good thing Nick is in the same location. You get into some fisticuffs together.
Oh, yeah. If Nick and I weren't, we're traveling on airplanes or cars or whatever, man, we'd be in fights all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be a mess.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what I think we should do? Let's go to the
know
Getting to
yourself,
Know Us segment. No more of this news nonsense. Getting to know us, it's the way we kind of figure out what everybody's been up to between shows. And Captain Nick?
Well, I know what you've been doing. Shall I do your bit for you?
Yeah, sure.
I think
whatever you want.
Excited. He's very excited.
Well, Jeff got a really, really nice computer. He was going to go along and buy an ordinary computer, but he ended up buying one with the new M4 processors in a beautiful dark gray color. I think it's about a 16-inch, is it, Jeff?
It's
16-inch.
Well, hang on.
You can't remember.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
get your tape measure out and measure it.
That's a lot.
What do you think about that,
Very
Nick?
impressive.
Oh, yeah, I know it is. Actually, no, I went with the 14 because I did at some point a couple of years ago. I actually bought a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and the thing was heavy as lead. I mean, it was like, oh man, this like I'm, and this is my computer that I take everywhere with me in the backpack, and even this 14-inch model is noticeably heavier than the MacBook Air that it essentially replaced, and because Captain Nick pointed out that I was kind of complaining.
This is my fault now, you see.
No, well, sort of. If I can blame somebody else and deflect from me, I'm going to do that.
Of course.
So that's what we do. So it's really getting dark here in my van. I'm wondering if I should turn on some light because the light that's lighting up my face is, now the computer just went to dark mode. So now it just got even less light. But all the light coming from the screen is the only thing that's lighting me up here. So I'm going to get something to light me up.
Light myself up.
But it's going to kind of, what do they call that?
Dance around at the back.
Yeah, the lights are going to like flicker. That's the word. I'm looking for flicker because of the LED. Their LED
haven't
lights.
You got anti-flicker on your camera?
Apparently, this does not have that. Or maybe there's a setting on the Insta360 link that I don't know about. Maybe I'll investigate that after the recording here. But let me turn on the slide. There we go. There's the slide overhead. Does it? Oh, is it flickering? It doesn't look like it.
No,
it's not. It looks fine.
Oh, well, maybe a little bit.
It's gone a little yellow, but
yeah, a little bit over here on the light. I see a little bit of flickerage.
Pretty subtle.
That's a word that I just made up. The thing I'm going to blame Captain Nick about, I was complaining about not getting my 10% discount anymore because I am no longer an active Delta employee, retiree. I don't rank, with the active duty people, or the active employees. So Captain Nick suggested that I check out to see if they have some kind of a military veteran discount. And Liz got right on that, and she looked it up, and sure enough, as a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, I am entitled to a 10% discount. So when I learned that...
You two pilots are real cheapskates.
Yeah, we are cheapskates. That's the mark of a true pilot. So when I was but instead of cheapskating out, Liz, I actually ended up spending more money than I was expecting to, because I went with the high end. I have no reason to have a M4 Max chip with all the GPU cores and CPU cores and everything else. But I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do with this machine. One of these days I might be doing multiple video streams and crazy things. And I'm thinking, future-proof, right? So I ended up getting
exactly. You might have an OnlyFans account.
Well, yeah, I always think it's good because, if your CPUs and your chips are only working at a fraction of their power, they're not going to generate lots of heat. So the fan won't come on, so it'll stay nice and quiet.
Exactly.
So,
but Liz is thinking that maybe I have something in the future involving OnlyFans.
I'm just talking about cooling your computer down.
Only the fans are cooling. Oh, I see. I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about something else out there on the internet.
Well, you're going to be in some nice quiet places when you go off with your RV. You're perfect for doing some extra video.
Exactly.
Stuff.
Right. Yeah, you should see all the crazy things I do, and get naked here in the night. No, you really shouldn't see that.
Well, the Naked Airline Pilot Show.
No.
Hey. APG After Dark, right? APG Triple X.
It is tonight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is dark in here. Dark in my mind. Anyway, so I went ahead and ordered the top end. I didn't go too crazy with storage. I only got 1 terabyte hard drive, but I think you can get all the way up to like 8 terabytes or something ridiculous.
Jeff, you filmed something that you didn't release. So
Captain Nick and Liz said, you need to do like an unboxing video.
Yes.
And I thought, I'll do that. And I did that for them. Actually, I did it with the intent of showing the patrons on Patreon the unboxing video. And I forgot to post
Maybe
that.
You needed to get more memory, Jeff.
I'll post that. I need more memory in my own brain.
I think you definitely should post it, Jeff, because it's very funny, particularly when you run out of hands.
Yeah.
Because you've got this incredibly brand new, expensive computer, and you're trying to hold the camera and trying to get out of the box, and I can see that you're worried about dropping it. So.
Well, I watch a lot of these YouTubers out there, and I've seen them struggle with this. Trying to do things with only one hand, and they're really good at it. And I've never tried it. And I realize now I have a lot of respect for these people because I tried to do it with the one hand. I went, okay, let me put this phone down put the phone down and let me use both hands. Anyway, so I'll try to remember to post that tonight or tomorrow so that the patrons can view the unboxing video. So more incentive to become a patron of the show. That's my big news for this week. And then because I didn't do the Apple migration routine thing, I went ahead and decided to just start from scratch, which is a major hassle because, you got to find all the downloading, like the installation programs for all the applications that you need to use, and then passwords and license codes and all kinds of stuff. And then, you're doing something and you go, oh, shoot, I need that too. I didn't realize how much, how complicated everything is until I started trying to recreate it all. But I'm getting there. So I was able to do enough to at least use it for the recording tonight. And the other thing, I might as well, since we're talking tech here, is over my left shoulder behind me, if you're watching the video, you can see some Ethernet status lights kind of blinking on and off. One of them, that's a modem, a new 5G PepWave or PepLink modem or router, actually both. And
boxes.
IHAL Boxes says 16 inches equipment kind of requires both hands. Yeah, no kidding. In this case, only 14. But, I'd settle for just 14, actually.
You're proud of 14.
And that's what I have done. So anyway, this PepLink they have a reputation for like being super rugged, top of the line pro routers, and the back end of the router modem admin panel that you can access has all kinds of power user stuff. So hopefully, I'm crossing fingers. I'm hoping that this is going to result in better internet bandwidth. Also, one of those Ethernet lights blinking is an Ethernet cable going to the antenna that you can't see that's above my through the skylight of my road vessel studio, and the Starlink antenna is up there. So I have that going into the modem, which has a bonding fusion technology, so it can use the.
It's in a bondage.
Yeah,
too.
Again, APG after hours, the bonded part. So. I don't know how it's working so far. I think there have been a couple of little glitches here and there.
Tiny glitches. That's it.
Minor.
Okay, well, good.
Not even worth mentioning.
No.
I'm in the middle of a campground. Just switched from one that I've been staying almost 2 weeks, and I'm only staying here tonight and tomorrow night. And then over the weekend, I took Liz's advice, and instead of making the long haul between Roswell for the masses that I sing in on the weekend and then going back up to the lake and back and forth, just under an hour each way. She said, why don't you get a hotel and just stay closer?
It's dark on Saturday night now.
Yeah, it does get very, very dark at night, early at night here. So I'm going to be spending a couple of nights at a hotel in Alpharetta for the weekend. And then next week, I don't know, I'm thinking I might head up to a Georgia State Park called Cloudland. I think it's called Cloudland, in the northeastern, kind of heading up toward Chattanooga. Not northwestern corner of the state, up toward Lookout Mountain. I don't know. Maybe I've dilly-dallied around too long and the sites are completely gone now, but I'm hoping that I can find one for
this time of year?
Monday too. Yeah, that's amazing how crowded these state parks are. Anyway, so I'll let you know what I end up doing, but I don't have any plans made for after, Monday morning, and then Monday night and on. I don't know where I'll be, but so equipment, technical stuff has been pretty much consuming all of my time between shows, and I'm still working on it. And and I'm very happy with my new, very expensive toy that was paid for by the coffee fund. So thank you very much, all of you who over time and currently still contributed to the show. That's one of the things that the coffee fund money does do for us, not only for me, but also the other hosts of the show.
So there's a host lingering down at the bottom.
I see a lingering host down there in the video thumbnail. Look at that. Steph, hey, how you doing?
Hi. Lingering sounds like some sort of condition.
Linger longer.
Linger longer. All right.
Loitering. You're loitering.
Yeah, I think linger is good. Loiter is not so good.
Loiter sounds shady.
Yeah.
Right.
Lingering sounds like...
And I was just, actually, speaking of shady, that's where I am right now. I'm in Shady Grove.
That always sounds fun.
Campground. It just sounds like there are a bunch of prostitutes that live here.
You wish.
Well, that would be loitering, wouldn't it?
That would be
lingering.
Loitering
Sounds more like genital herpes.
That's what I was concerned about. I didn't want to say it specifically.
That would be soliciting.
That's why I said it sounds like.
I'm sorry you're concerned about that, Steph. Sorry.
I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about what it sounds like.
Oh, Liz is laughing so hard.
So hard.
Liz has just bust a blood vessel.
Oh, dear.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
I
resist.
just wish we could use this on cover art. I really do.
No, we do not want to get anywhere near the cover art.
Oh, I'm sure I can put a wart in there somewhere.
Nope.
Steph's thinking, for this I rushed home. Woo.
Yeah, I'm leaving now. I feel like I've lingered
Sorry,
a bit
Steph.
long, and might be time to go.
You're not going to linger longer. Okay.
Might be time to resolve whatever this is.
Are we getting to know Steph now?
Yeah, we're going to get to know Steph right now.
Okay.
Oh,
what
all right.
What you been doing?
Get to know me. I've been working a lot. That's about it. Wish I had something more exciting to talk about.
Sticking needles in people's backs.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, this time of year always gets a little busy, especially in the
using up their insurance.
Yeah, in our country. And it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be this mad rush that everyone had met their deductible by about the end of October, like Halloween time, and then wanted everything to be done before the first of the year. Because after the first of the year, deductibles reset, and all of a sudden you have to meet an out-of-pocket minimum, which means you have to pay for things, you know, by handing over your hard-earned cash or credit card, as opposed to the insurance covering more of it. In reality, it's, you know, that's a whole other story. We can get into how insurance in this country works. We should not, though.
Please don't.
But it seems to have been better the past couple of years, but it still is pretty busy. Lots of people want to get things done, especially before the holidays, especially things they've been putting off all year. So, yeah. I know it. Just stay busy.
Cool.
Nose to the grind and yeah. Not busy in a bad way or anything, just busy, just steady. And gosh, I think this weekend's going to be a bit of downtime doing a event at the Whitewater Center here in Charlotte tomorrow. Their Shot in the Dark trail race. So it's a nighttime run, which
Watch
I've
out
done
for
before.
those low-hanging branches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be doing the 5K. My younger brother this year they're having a half marathon event. He signed up for that, and now he's regretting his choices. He's concerned.
Just that choice?
Choices, Liz, plural.
Plural.
So I figure we'll be there for a while tomorrow. I'll wait for him to finish. So weather looks like it's going to be okay. It poured rain all day today, so it might be kind of a muddy, icky trail situation. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow, though, so hopefully we haven't had a ton of rain recently, so hopefully when the sun comes out, it'll dry things up pretty quickly. We'll see. Temperatures otherwise look pretty good for the
Steph's going to do a slip and slide maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Oh, okay. I can take a hint, Liz. So you're out there on the trail doing the...
Okay, everybody, come outside. Everybody ready for a wild, wet ride?
Yeah. Slip and slide, running down the trail at the Whitewater Center.
I really hope to remain upright, feet firmly on the ground.
I've heard that.
No
before.
trips, no falls.
Yeah.
Do you run down the bit where the water normally goes?
No. Oh, what, on the slip and slide?
No, yeah, I mean, it's just a whitewater center. But
No. They have all kinds of like single track mountain bike trails, and that's where you do the woods. The running.
Oh,
it's in the
okay.
woods.
All
yeah.
right.
It's with the name, but they have a lot of cycling and running events as well. Yeah, lots of space. Lots of wooded area.
Well, thanks.
It's really
for
nice.
making
Well, good luck. Don't
4
twist
weeks
your
in
ankle.
a row. 4 weeks.
No, 5, I think.
Hey, 5, I think.
5.
5
weeks in a row.
5 weeks in a row. Gold star.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back and give myself some sort of award.
You should.
Hooray.
Captain Nick, what have you been doing?
Yeah, what have you been up to, sir?
Captain Nick's done absolutely nothing. I am really supporting the household while my wife dives off doing all sorts of courses and visits. She was at the Royal Needlework exhibition today in one of the palaces in London. I'm trying to think which one it was.
Fancy.
Hampton Court, I think. So anyway, she's having great fun doing that, and I end up dog sitting a lot. But since I'm spending 20 hours a day building her Christmas present, Sorry, she doesn't listen to the show, so I'm safe in
Nobody
mentioning
does.
this. No, I'm assembling a photo book for her.
Lovely.
The last one I did is many years old now, and so I've had to start at about 2007, and I've got up to 2009 now. And I do take an awful lot of pictures. So this
How big is this book?
Well, this one's only going to be 120 pages, but
Sounds like you're going to have to do
sides.
multiple volumes going forward.
Just like the RAF Form 414.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's going to be like. Yes, a pictorial version. So that's been keeping me busy. Sorry, that's my dog flapping its ears. But perhaps I could, before I disappear, just mention the artwork from last. Yeah, well done, Liz. So we had some interesting suggestions, like a pecker in the captain's lap, which were all to do with the goose that took out the windshield of was it A320, something like that.
Something like that. No, it was a Boeing.
It was a Boeing. It was a 737.
Some sort of max.
I can't imagine that. And also the bag that flew out of the cargo compartment in the nose of some
LET
Rip-off
Force
twatter.
twatter look-alike.
Rip-off twatter.
Yeah.
A rip-off
Low-rent
twatter,
twatter.
yes. So
What do we call it?
they had a bad strike,
funky
and we had warm and fuzzy itchy tacos, which was would have been
Everybody
a
voted for that one,
fantastic
by the way.
title.
So
If I'd
gross.
managed
you
to
didn't
work
go there.
out how on earth I was going to illustrate it. So
I
in the end,
actually received from at least several people in the current live audience their versions of that artwork on whatever AI platform they were using, which were quite funny. But yes,
I did actually try putting that into the one I use. And I sent them, didn't I? They were just odd, funny,
that's the other one I was thinking of,
spiky, furry tacos with faces on. Anyway, so I combined two. I did the goose that went through the windshield and the bag that flew out the cargo hold. So this is a Canadian Canada goose, although it looks a bit duck-like. And it's sitting in the cockpit having broken through the windshield. There's glass everywhere, and sitting between the pilots. One of which has a very large white mustache, which I think is great. And being a Canadian goose, starts off saying sorry. Has anyone seen my bag? And then flying through the left-hand engine, the number one engine, is a suitcase with a Canadian tourist sticker on it that's been clobbered, and all the clothes are spilling out. So that was that, which I was actually, once I managed to get, I have to say, 30 attempts to get a picture that looked real-ish, considering I've got a goose in the middle of a cockpit. Anyway, I then, of course, hit the show number.
I actually found these, the yellow bits.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
wow. Oh, well done.
I found them with the yellow highlighting.
Yeah. Yes, with the first officer's eye, I've turned into a 6. The goose's bridge of the nose or the beak, I've turned into a 3. And the captain, Jeff, there has an 8 stuck in his ear. And the logo is on the first officer's release for his harness. I think that was supposed to be, but now it's an Acme wings. So there you go. That was all done. Great fun.
Love it.
And I have got some ideas for this week, but
got a
I
few
can't
already.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, that's me done.
All right.
Excellent.
Oh, Liz, you wanted to talk administrative.
One moment, please.
Yeah, pop yourself into the video. We're waiting for that to happen. There we go.
Here I am.
She put some clothes on, and now she's here with us.
Yes, exactly. So we just love getting feedback from the community. That sort of makes us very happy, and we need some more, so feel free to send some in. But the absolute best way for you to send it is to the feedback@airlinepilotguy.com email address. And the reason for that is when you send it to that one, it goes automatically into the place that holds all of our feedback. It's Jeff has automated it that way. So if you send it to Jeff personally or me personally or anybody else, it can kind of get lost in the shuffle, and I kind of almost lost one, but I did find it. But anyway, if you have something you want to send, video, audio, whatever you want to send, please send it to that email address. Thank you.
Yeah. And also, we should add that sometimes you want to send us email as a group, and feedback@airlinepilotguy.com is a great address for that. But you may not actually want it to be covered on the show. And so perhaps you should put something in there like, hey, this is not for the show, but blah, blah, blah.
Put it at the very top in big, bold print. Because if you put it at the bottom, it might be read sight unseen.
What? No, that never happens, Steph.
I'm just hypothetically envisioning a situation in which that might happen.
Yeah, usually when I'm reading the feedback, I read the part. Don't say any of this on the show. Oh.
Well, you see, iHall Boxes is saying something here that I think people think is true, but that's not true. It just sort of is a bit annoying when it comes to me, because then I have to do more work to get it where it belongs. So
what did he say?
He's saying if you send it to me with hugs and kisses, it skips the line. Well, it may skip the line right out the door because I might not find it. So.
But anyway, now you include money with it, then now that's a whole different
that's different. Yeah, particularly the Canadian dollars. So send it down. But anyway, thank you very much. We love getting your feedback.
Yeah,
it's sort of our main thing on the show. You know, we go and find news items, but feedback is our thing. So
yes, we're not trying to discourage you in the least bit.
At
but
all.
Just makes it a little bit easier for our workflow to kind of send it to the feedback address.
Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. All right, there you go.
She gone.
Yep.
She gone. She back.
Okay.
You want to do coffee fund, and then we'll do that one news item that we kept for Steph?
Yeah, okay. Let's do the coffee fund, and I think I have that set up on my Stream Deck. I do, yes. Mm-hmm.
Johnny, how much more coffee? No thanks.
I love coffee. Come on, Steph. I love tea. I love the APG community, coffee and tea, and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh yeah, you hear Liz singing along with me. A little behind, but I'll try to sync that up in post. The Coffee Fund. It's your way, dear listener, to support the show financially, if you have the financial resources to do so. And only if you think we deserve it. Value for value and all that kind of stuff. We have no advertisers on the show because I hate advertisers. I mean, I don't hate them personally. I just don't like shows that have advertising. Yeah, it's just annoying. Yeah. So we exist on your kind contributions. A couple different ways to do that. One is the OG, the Coffee Fund Classic method. And since the last episode, no new contributions from that aspect of the Coffee Fund cadre. But you can also become a patron of the show via patreon.com, where you can pledge a certain amount per episode, and you can stipulate a maximum amount to be withdrawn from your source of funding if you'd like. But anyway, all those methods, all two of them, are explained on our website, airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. We will too. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot that we actually do have a new patron, a new producer since the last episode. And did you write down his name? I think I did somewhere. No, you weren't supposed to, Liz. I did. I put it here in the Coffee Fund note. It's Travis Cole. Travis Cole has become a new producer, a new patron at patreon.com. Thank you very much, Travis, for joining the Coffee Bar Club. And if you're listening out there and you want to join Travis and all the other fine people over there, head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to cover this next item that we wanted to hold for Dr. Steph because it's GA, General Aviation oriented, and it is a video from VAS Aviation. So let's go ahead and put that on the stage. And there we go, Vass Aviation, Real Aviation Communications, and he uses liveatc.net audio. The 4th of November.
And that's Palo Tower. Go ahead.
I'm a Carbon Cub, Charlie 19er, over. Let's see, Los Gatos, losing my engine. I'm actually, can you give me a squawk and pick me up?
Charlie 19er, Palo 2 Tower, standby.
7700.
Charlie 19er, squawk 5361.
Ooh.
Okay, 5361 on Charlie for Carbon Cod 902 Lima Golf.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Charlie 19er, make straight in, runway 31, clear to land.
Negative, can't make the field. Just see if you can pick me up. I'm going to have to go down over what looks like, I think, 280 somewhere.
That's a busy highway.
Roger.
Palo Alto.
No problem, I'm out of fuel.
Charlie 19er, are you able to make a right-hand turn towards San Jose as well?
Negative. I'm continuing north here. I'm going to have to go down over the freeway. I'm still running right now, but I know I'm out of fuel.
Roger.
This field.
Charlie 19er, roger.
Alright, I'm not going to make the field. I'm going down on the freeway. This is not going to be free.
Charlie 19er, roger. And Charlie 19er, when able, will you be able to land north of 280? And Charlie 19er, see persons on board.
Number 0 Quebec Foxtrot, we had a Carbon Cub run out of fuel. 11 o'clock is 7 miles. It's about a mile and a half off of the west side of Final when you get about 5 mile Final. If you're able to look out the left wing and see if you see anything out that way, let me know. 0 Quebec Foxtrot, Wilco.
I see it.
There it is.
Yeah, on the video they're showing an aerial view from a helicopter, most likely, of the Carbon Cub, a nice kind of a military gray color. It looks like they have it he's had it painted in a military scheme. Let's continue with the video, see what else we got in there.
Number 0 Quebec Foxtrot, that last known location is 9 to 10 o'clock and about a mile and a half. And it was a Carbon Cub.
Yeah, we're looking. The passengers are as well. 500, 400 Quebec Foxtrot.
You can see people out on the ground walking around?
No, not yet, but we're looking. 400 Quebec Foxtrot.
Roger. 0 Quebec Foxtrot, contact them off the tower. Good day.
Roger, good day. 0 Quebec Foxtrot. Sorry about that. We didn't see anything.
It was worth a shot. Thank you.
Charlie 19er, Palo Tower.
400 Quebec Foxtrot inbound on the RNAV 32 left.
Number 400 Quebec Foxtrot, Mop Sky. Roger, runway 32 left, wind 220 at 3 clear to land.
And 32 left, 400 Quebec Foxtrot.
400 Quebec Foxtrot, just NorCal keeps calling me. You weren't able to see that Cub that had to make emergency landing, did you?
We did, and we were looking, and the passengers, and there was a big field off to our left that I thought for sure where it would be, but there was nothing there.
Will do. Yeah, we'll see if we can't get some VFR aircraft that's around Palo Alto. Go head there and check it out. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And Sirius 93 Bravo, the previous call to other aircraft, the call sign appeared to be 902 Lima Golf, but identified as a Super Cub.
Roger, thanks, Nancy Bravo.
Sirius 93 Bravo, are you able to divert out of the airspace and try to see where that aircraft that may have landed at? It's between the 85 and the 280.
Do you want me to divert out of the airspace, Nancy Bravo?
November 93 Bravo, they're not inbound, but is it able to for you to leave the airspace and try to locate where that aircraft may be?
Sure, if you guide me, I'll go there. Nancy Bravo.
And November 93 Bravo, Roger. You proceed southbound and follow along the 280, and it's south of the 280 on the 85.
Sorry, say it again. So can you give me a vector towards it?
So 93 Bravo, you make a left Dumbarton departure and then follow along the 280. They're currently south of the 280 on the 85, about 9 miles southeast of the field.
Okay, I'll start heading that direction and let you know what I find. 93 Bravo.
I have no idea what you said.
Thanks for your help. Suggest heading will be 140 and 9 miles.
Okay, 140, 9 miles. I can do that. 93 Bravo.
Thank you, sir. And November 93 Bravo. This is voluntary, but thank you for your help. Are you able to assist us with this situation?
Affirmative. Yeah, just keep me out of trouble with the airspace. 93 Bravo.
November 93 Bravo. You can contact Moffett Tower. They'll be able to assist you a little bit better. I have 119.55. And once again, thank you for your help this morning.
You're welcome. 119. What was that? 93 Bravo.
It'll be 1955.
1955. Thanks, 93 Bravo. Moffett Tower, Cirrus November 93 Bravo. I've been asked to assist with a situation with an aircraft on the ground, and I'm in your airspace. If you could give me some guidance on what you want me to look for. 93 Bravo.
Roger, sir. Looks like I see the tag, Moffett Tower, Moffett Altimeter 3018, and then I see at or below 1,500, sir. It looks like where I see the tag is if you head towards the 280, it looks like they're about 1 mile, a mile and a half south of where the 280 and the 85 intersect.
Okay, we'll be looking. 93 Bravo.
What'd you say?
So California.
I'm familiar with those intersections. I see a road on my map that I think is 82. But if you can tell us when we're close, and we'll circle and look. 93 Bravo.
If you continue straight ahead, sir, the highway that's going to be passing basically from south to north to you is going to be the 85. And then once you intersect that highway, sir, just make a slight right-hand turn, follow it straight, like south-ish. Probably I can't give you a heading, but you'll see that. You should see the highway right in front of you. And then the tag right there is just about a mile and a half south of where that highway intersects the 280.
Okay, Moffett Tower, this is 93 Bravo. I think we see 280 straight ahead, and we see a highway to our right. So should we take the right turn here?
Negative, sir. Just continue straight ahead. Right now, you're directly over the 85.
Okay, we see emergency vehicles ahead of us on 85, and we'll let you know when we find we get a little closer. 93 Bravo.
Sir. Yeah, it looks like you're about a mile north of that. From that position, sir. Just let me know if you see the Cub on the ground.
Roger, we'll do. 93 Bravo.
And 93 Bravo, looks like you're directly over where I see the tag broadcasting receiver. You see anything right now?
Passenger is looking. 93 Bravo.
Very much appreciated. If you could just orbit in that general area, and then let me know whatever you find.
Traffic in sight. I have the aircraft on the ground. 93 Bravo. Looks like it's flipped upside down.
Roger. Okay, so there are emergency vehicles responding, though?
No.
Affirmative. There are emergency vehicles present. 93 Bravo.
Perfect, sir. Okay. I guess that's all the information that we can gather from that. Thank you so much. If you'd like to head back towards Palo Alto, transition is approved, sir.
Okay, we'll head back towards Palo Alto. 93 Bravo.
And 193 Bravo, was he in like a field or was he on the highway?
He was kind of on the edge of the highway, like in the median, on the right side, upside down. 93 Bravo.
93 Bravo, Roger. What a way to start the morning.
Yeah, this is new to me. I've been flying a long time now, and this is new. So anyway, I'm glad to help. 93 Bravo.
93 Bravo, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. And you contact Palo Alto Tower 118.6. Have a good day.
Palo Tower, good day. 93 Bravo.
Obviously, this guy has low wing bias because he's assuming that the airplane was upside down, but it's a high wing. A Carbon Cub is a replica of a Piper J3 Cub, essentially. And so it's a new airplane, newish, a lot newer than the Piper J3.
Really nice.
Yeah, they're very nice airplanes. In fact, I remember one time a few years back, Steph and I were floating on floaties in a lake, watching the full solar eclipse. Heard an airplane behind us landing on the lake. It was probably a Carbon Cub on floats, and it was beautiful. So this guy looks like he landed upright, not upside down. And as far as the pictures that we're seeing of the Carbon Cub, it looks like no damage at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was upside down at any point. I think we'd see quite a bit of damage to the airframe there. It looks intact to me. So, a couple of things. I mean, it sounds like it was at the end a good outcome. I don't think they said anything about anyone being injured. It sounds like they didn't hit any traffic on the highway that they opted to land on. I was looking up a few things about the Carbon Cub while we were listening to all of that. So depending on the model of Carbon Cub, it looks like there's actually a few of them, anywhere from useful loads of 424 pounds up to 833 pounds-ish, depending on how it's outfitted. And I bring that up because I was looking at fuel capacity and fuel burn. So the old school Cubs, like the J3, are well known for having very low fuel burn, something like 4 gallons per hour or something along those lines. And looks like kind of the same thing for the Carbon Cub. What I see, it's 5 to 6 gallons per hour, and standard ones hold 25 gallons. So that gets you roughly 5 hours of fuel, potentially, depending on how much you've elected to take, how much junk you've thrown into the Carbon Cub along with you.
I found, though, you have to actually put the fuel in the tank.
Well, yes.
Before you fly.
Interesting that he was very sure that he was out of fuel.
I screwed up. I forgot to put enough fuel.
So that was, we talked before about causes of fuel starvation. This sounds like an improper fuel planning event, potentially, since he was pretty sure he was just plain old out of gas. So, Yep. Anyway, glad it was, in the end, a good outcome and as good as it could be for the situation. And good work, good coordination by everyone. The Cirrus pilot helping out, and the various towers trying to coordinate some responses.
I agree. Could have been a lot worse. As he said, this is not going to be pretty, I think, or something like that.
He did say that. And I just said, I talked over it a little bit. I said it's so California because it's a very California thing for people to refer to numbered highways as the 85 and the 280.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen anywhere else in this country. It's
Well, I'm going to take the 400 down to the 285.
I'll take the 405 down to the 5, and then the 15 up to the 2.
I grew up in a neighborhood which is at the intersection of the 405 and the 605.
And it's always the.
I said get on the on-ramp to the 405 and get out of here.
Absolutely.
But these are busy highways that he was kind of.
Yeah, they are busy highways.
These are like
Northern California.
busy highways, interstates, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like it was morning, probably rush hour time. Who knows? I mean, highways are busy all the time in California. I'm not sure that there's a.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, our first feedback item is about a plane coming down on a highway.
Did somebody say feedback?
Yeah.
Captain.
And
incoming message.
Speaking of airplanes landing on highways, which seems to be happening quite a bit lately. Maybe they've always been happening and we just haven't noticed or something. I don't know. But this is some feedback from David. He says, engine trouble? Not so fast. Oceanside, California drug plane follow-up on APG 637. So on 637, we covered this incident where this low-winged, that's not a high-wing airplane upside down, it's a low-wing Piper something or other. Looks like a retractable gear Piper low-wing 1711 Tango that landed on a highway. And you'll recall that the two occupants were arrested for drug trafficking. And so let me read what David said here. On APG 637, you covered the story of the drug plane that landed on a road in Oceanside, California, after experiencing engine trouble. So they probably weren't too far from the 405. I've included a link to a follow-up story that includes commentary from the plane's owner, who'd rented it to the pilot. Turns out that the engine trouble, in quotes, was actually fuel starvation. Just like that last one.
Was it a they didn't put enough fuel in problem?
Well,
or was it something else?
It was something else, actually. That actually did have fuel.
It was a planning problem, just not in the sense we were just talking about.
Yes, exactly. It was an pilot error execution kind of a problem with a valve to select the tanks that had fuel in them. So the plane has 4 fuel tanks. The pilot had selected a tank that was empty. 2 of the other tanks were nearly full. Yikes! I mean, we could have delivered our drugs and been back, and nobody would have been.
No one would have known. We would have gotten away with it. Could have gotten away with it too if he weren't.
I could just see him slapping his forehead.
I know. They could have bought a lot of gasoline with that money from the drugs, huh?
Piper Cherokee Pathfinder. Most Cherokees I'm familiar with have, right and left fuel tanks. Yeah, I don't know the Pathfinder variant. Yeah, I'm sure. But I knew it was something odd. I was trying to remember before I just blurted it out, but it says later on in the article here. But yeah, typically, in these low wing Pipers, you're basically always going back and forth between the left fuel tank and the right fuel tank. Such that on our GPS, like the 430 that's commonly in these aircraft, you can schedule messages to show up. So every 30 minutes, it'll just pop up with a reminder, hey, switch fuel tanks. Oh, yeah, okay.
Good
switch
idea.
fuel tanks. And it's just a, reminder that you're always burning asymmetrically. So you have to manage that.
It's interesting that one of the charged in this incident, Mr. Smith pled not guilty. He was actually the one that had the backpack that he threw away, and the police.
I didn't know what was in the backpack.
Yeah, well, I don't.
I was just a passenger along for the ride. I thought we were going on a scenic flight.
My bag was going to get caught in the propeller.
Exactly. Wanted to get away from the propeller. Have fun defending yourself in this case, sir. I think he was a 21-year-old. The young, or no, I don't know. No, the 21-year-old was the actual pilot. I think the CFI, which again, as the owner of the plane said at one point in the story, anytime a pilot, especially in this case where it's a certified flight instructor, there is an exception that they know the expectation that they know the aircraft. Not only do they know the aircraft, they know it well enough to understand the fuel system, which really isn't that difficult. And ultimately, you need to monitor that. You need to check that, and you need to maintain that. So in this case, that wasn't done. No. The owner said he was disappointed in the pilot, and now he's continuing to have to deal with the aftermath, working through insurance and trying to repair the plane.
Well, that was great for David to send that follow-up in.
Yeah, thank you, David, for sending that follow-up.
I was intrigued by the name of the road they were sitting on, the SR-76. And I just checked, there is indeed an SR-71 road as well.
State road. Well,
and there is actually a SR-76.
It goes a lot faster than that Cherokee, the SR-76.
Well, there is an SR-76. It's just it's still secret, so we don't know any details about.
Well, Tim Van Ram wants to qualify all this road stuff.
Oh, Tim Van Ram says no self-respecting Northern California would use "the" before a roadway, exclusively a Southern California thing. Well, I guess the ATC guy up there at NorCal must have been an import from Southern California. Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Well,
maybe.
That's just a bad habit. Don't worry about it, Steph.
iHall Boxes says a friend of mine was trying to be smart by positioning the fuel valve between L and R. It didn't last for long. He was trying to do symmetric fuel burn, and he got
the system's not designed that way.
Zero fuel burn. No. So in a way, it was sort of symmetrical.
Thank you, David. Yeah.
Love it.
Right.
Okay, Captain Steffen is making you guys work.
Okay, Captain Steffen, an occasional.
No, we've refused. We've gone on strike.
An occasional host of the show sent us this. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Okay. You okay, Liz?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Okay. Marine pilot loses command after ejecting from F-35B that kept flying. Oops. Let's see. Steffen from Hamburg. Thanks again for giving me the opportunity to join you on the latest show. Yeah, it was our pleasure. Since I'm not a military guy, I wonder what Captain Nick and Captain Jeff is saying to this accident and the reaction of the Navy. And so he sent us a link. We're going to start from the very beginning on page 1. We have 111 pages.
Of report.
So we're going to be here for a couple of hours.
Steffi's
we're not going to
now.
read. Steph is gone. I got to get a beer before we start reading this one. So I'm going to scroll all the way down past the military incident report or accident report, accident investigation. And now I wish that I hadn't selected all pages because this is taking forever. Thanks, Steffen, for sending that long report. Okay. A pilot who ejected from a malfunctioning F-35B in heavy rain over South Carolina last year, which kept flying on autopilot for 64 nautical miles before crashing, was fired from his command of a prestigious squadron as a result of the mishap. Colonel Charles let me adjust my progressive lensed glasses here. I'll tilt my head up. Colonel Charles Trey Del Pizzo, 49.
Yep.
He's in the picture shown on the video. Confirmed to Marine Corps Times. He was the pilot who ejected from the F-35B over Charleston, South Carolina on September 17th, 2023, and parachuted into a resident's backyard. I think I remember the story. I don't know if we covered it. Did we talk about it on the show?
I believe we did.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, the guy ejected, but they can't find the F-35.
Yeah, here
like,
they are searching in a field.
Yeah, there's a picture of the military folks searching in a field to try to find evidence of the disappeared F-35. So let's see. In a written statement, Del Pizzo said Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Eric Smith, ordered him to be fired from command of Marine Test and Evaluation Squadron 1 after reviewing the report on the crash investigation. So what was the problem? Well, as Del Pizzo was attempting to land through rain at Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina, the standby flight display and backup communications system remained basically functional, but I guess he was having some issues with the F-35, very fancy avionics, and a lot of the stuff, the primary avionics and stuff are like located in your helmet, and you're looking at stuff through the helmet visor, and apparently some of that was malfunctioning and kind of going in and out, and he, even though the standby flight display and backup communication system remained basically functional, he determined, and they talk about this in the report, that the definition of what an airplane out of control is, as far as an F-35B is concerned, is quite broad, the definition. And based on that quite broad definition, Colonel Del Pizzo considered the aircraft out of control, and so he elected to eject. Let's see, despite the investigation finding that he followed the proper procedures and was not derelict in his duties, investigators concluded that Del Pizzo could have continued flying the jet, and his decision to eject was a mistake. So the investigation concluded that the mishap resulted from pilot error because he incorrectly diagnosed an out-of-control flight emergency and ejected from a flyable aircraft, although under extreme, challenging cognitive and flight conditions, the report said. So I guess his commander or somebody up the chain said, I know we let you assume command of the Yuma, Arizona-based squadron known as VMX-1, which I guess is, as they say in the article, pretty prestigious post and squadron. Now that we've read the report and see what you actually did, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be in command and have the trust and confidence of his ability to execute the responsibilities of his command. So Colonel John Dirk took over the squadron on that same day. So I don't know. What do you think, Captain Nick, of this situation? Interesting.
It's a difficult one because I don't have enough technical knowledge to really assess exactly what the guy had left. But I understand these were transitional problems, so he had an electrical fault, and it was hard to diagnose, and he was in foul weather, and he had a lot of justification for abandoning the aircraft, but not enough possibly to satisfy his commanders. They probably hold him to a very high standard, and it looks like he didn't really achieve that, and as a result, perhaps that would have affected his ability to command this, very well thought of squadron. So, I can perhaps understand why they relieved him of command, but they don't seem to have done anything else. He's not being, court-martialed or anything, I don't believe. So that'll be that. It's sad to lose an aircraft, but I suspect they thought he had the ability to bring this aircraft back, and were a bit surprised that he didn't. So
I see the problem, actually.
It's very difficult.
I see the problem. Yeah. He attended and graduated from Auburn University.
Oh, was he on the basketball team?
Oh, the ones with
he was not on the basketball team.
Scrapping basketball players.
He was in the
lousy university
reserve. He was in the Reserve Officer Training Corps program for in the reserves for 3.5 years while attending college, and earned his commission as an officer in 1997 after graduating from Auburn. And but despite that, over the next 25 years, he became an experienced combat pilot with more than 2,800 hours in the cockpit, 32 hours of which were in the F-35B. He has deployed 6 times over his career, including deployments to support the Iraq and Afghanistan wars and Operation Inherent Resolve against the Islamic State. So he's got quite a good record. But I guess...
How many hours on the F-35?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how many he had on the 32. Only 32 hours.
That's not a lot, is it? That's not a lot. I know they do a lot of simulator time, but that's not a lot of time. And so that sort of goes in his favor.
Yeah.
I can understand flying, F-18s or whatever he did before.
AV-8B Harrier.
Kettle of fish.
He flew again.
He must have been a good stick and rudder guy then.
Yeah, that's a typical airplane to fly.
The Harrier's not an easy airplane to fly.
Does it go against him that the plane was able to fly itself that much farther? You know what I mean? Like it didn't go right into the ground?
That didn't help, Liz.
Okay. Didn't think so.
No, it didn't. But of course, because he's in cloud, he's only got intermittent radio. And transponder. He's not getting a lot of help from the ground. He's not sure of his instruments. He's not sure, particularly of his altitude. He might have thought, well, I could be damn close to the ground, about to fly into it. I can't really tell. If he trusted his instruments a little more, I think, then he would have been fine. But there you go.
Yeah, it says that he was beginning to use his jet's instruments to guide his landing through the rain, lowered the landing gear, and then when he was lining up for final approach, he decided to switch to the F-35B's short takeoff and vertical landing, or STOVL mode, and carry out a slow landing. And he radioed that instruction to his wingman, but that was the last radio call the wingman heard from him. So there are the electrical radio problems. Shortly after he converted to the STOVL mode, his helmet-mounted display started flickering out and back in. And that's, again, he made the decision that this is technically out of control. And I guess to the letter of the law at that time, the way the manual was written, that or the guidance, he's below 6,000 feet. He was about just shy of 2,000 feet, 1,900 feet. He determined, okay, this thing's out of control. I'm out of it. But yes, it did not help
Yeah.
that the airplane continued to fly for 64 miles without him.
Yeah. I suspect if he'd managed to bring it back in, they'd have given him a medal.
Yeah.
As it was, they fired him. So it was just one of those awful situations you're in. You're either the hero or a goat.
Well, as a service to the insomniacs, we'll have the 111-page report in the show notes, yeah?
Yes, if you are having trouble sleeping at night, we do have the 111-page report to peruse. Oh, you said either a hero or a goat. I mean, greatest of all time? Isn't that kind of the same thing?
No, I was thinking more of the Charlie Brown,
or a goat, like an actual animal goat.
An actual goat. Well, wasn't that was? I mean, that's what Susie kept saying to him when he was going to kick the ball.
Yeah.
You could kick this and be a hero, or you could be a goat. And as he tried to kick it, she always whipped it away.
Lucy, yeah, Lucy.
Okay.
Lucy, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd not heard that phrase. Sorry.
Here comes that Sam Dawson again.
Sam Dawson again. Again, we need to do something to tighten up our feedback filters.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Apparently. All right. Let's see. From Sam, NTSB uncovers critical mistakes that led American Airlines regional jet to land on the wrong runway at Chicago O'Hare. And this is from View from the Wing. And let's see, the NTSB issued a report detailing a serious incident last month at Chicago O'Hare where an Embraer 170 mistakenly landed on the wrong runway. On September 25th, 2024, so a couple months ago, American Airlines wholly owned regional carrier Envoy Air was operating Flight 3936 from Norfolk to Chicago O'Hare and touched down on a parallel runway different from its assigned path. The aircraft with 68 passengers and crew members on board landed on runway 10 left instead of the designated runway 10 center. The incident unfolded amid a sequence of changing runway assignments for the crew. Initially, based on the weather conditions, the pilots planned to land on runway 27 right. Air traffic control later informed them to expect 9 left. Then obviously the wind shifted and they turned the airport around, as we like to say. So they switched landing and taking off to the west to landing and taking off to the east. Then they were later shifted to 10 right before being ultimately assigned to runway 10 center as they approached O'Hare. Chicago O'Hare has 8 runways, and we're showing an overhead view of all the runways at O'Hare. There are a bunch of them. Most of them parallel east-west runways, and then some diagonal ones as well. Crazy place. So getting back to the article, the captain serving as pilot monitoring programmed the flight management computer to prepare for a visual approach to 10 center, which was what they were expecting, while also attempting to back up the visual with instrument landing system guidance. However, when the crew loaded the ILS for runway 10 center, the computer failed to auto-tune the localizer frequency and the identifier for the approach did not appear. This prompted the captain to reload the approach and manually input the ILS frequency, but the issue persisted. ATC directed Flight 3936 to turn onto a 060 heading to align with the localizer for runway 10 center. During the communication, the crew initially read back the incorrect heading of 090, but this was promptly corrected by the approach controller. The pilots were then instructed to maintain a speed of 170 knots and to contact the O'Hare Tower controller once they reached the Ray waypoint. Upon establishing contact with Tower, I think that's the final approach fix or pretty close to it, the captain communicated that the aircraft was on a visual to 10 center and was cleared to land. Was he, though? However, due to the unresolved ILS issue and visual misalignment, the aircraft continued its descent toward the adjacent runway 10 left. Just an aside, 10 left is usually the one in these conditions where they're using for takeoffs. ATC personnel in the tower identified the discrepancy but chose to coordinate with the controller responsible for runway 10 left to permit the landing, as there were no conflicting aircraft in the vicinity. So I guess they didn't have anybody lining up and wait on 10 letter
Yeah.
or 10 left or getting close to that area. So they had a little gap, I guess. According to the investigation, neither the crew nor the ATC issued alerts about the alignment error during the approach. The crew did not inform ATC about their inability to receive the localizer for 10 center, nor did the controllers question the alignment once the aircraft declared itself on a visual approach to 10 center. The NTSB opened an investigation categorizing it as a serious incident due to the potential risks involved, just like the ATSB. The cockpit voice recorder was overwritten after the incident, erasing potentially critical communications and crew decision-making information. Initial findings highlight multiple contributing factors, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so to me, if you're looking at the window, obviously they said the conditions were VMC, visual meteorological conditions. 5,500
and 10 miles of visibility.
Okay, so decent conditions for seeing the runway, and they told Tower they're on a visual approach to 10 center. I think it's more of there's some confusion with the tuning and auto tuning of the ILS frequency, but you got to, in this case, use your eyeballs as primary. It's nice to have a backup, but if it's not tuning up properly, you need to be able to identify which of those runways is 10 center. And I'm assuming they probably have been operating in and out of O'Hare quite a bit. So it's hard for me to give them a pass on this one. They should clearly know what 10 center looks like as opposed to 10 left. And they shouldn't have been so concerned about the backup tuning of the ILS, in my opinion. Probably the NTSB's opinion as well. What do you think, Steph? You fly out of O'Hare all the time, so that gives you expert status.
I don't personally fly in and out of O'Hare, but I am a passenger very frequently in and out of O'Hare. And if even as a passenger, if you're just paying even a little bit of attention, then you know that closest runway on the south side of the airport to the terminal is the departure runway. And then the other two are more commonly the arrival runways. There's that diagonal runway 22, I think 422 maybe over there on the side.
22 left.
22 left. Yeah. Used for departures commonly as well.
Yep.
If you fly in and out of there frequently, that's something that should raise a little bit of flag in your head. Like, wait, why are we going to land on the runway that's
normally used for
farthest north? The runway that's normally used for takeoffs and departures. That would be a question I would have.
Yeah, I agree. Now, so you have to say some of these huge mega airports with multiple runways, especially many parallel runways, can get confusing, but that's when you have to really be on your game and looking at your airport diagram and reminding yourself of what you're looking for when you have visual at the runway,
I also have a question that if the controllers identified the issue, they're like, well, you know what, it's fine. It's probably gonna be more hassle for us to question these guys about it and make them change things, and maybe they won't be able to do it and they'll go around and maybe we'll just let them land and sort it out later. But I feel like something probably should have been said.
Check your alignment. Are you sure you're lined up on 10 center? That would have been helpful, I think. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I agree entirely. I'm very surprised that the air traffic let him continue without saying anything. After all, if he'd suddenly read the numbers and realized he was lining up on the wrong runway, he might have quite rashly decided to try and sidestep to the correct runway, which would have meant low-level maneuvering and could have led to a more dangerous situation or being forced to go around, which, generally speaking, shouldn't hurt anybody, but it's a very busy airport. So, any go-around is obviously an increased risk.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Jeff, I want to be sure that we do number 8 from Ahmad, his video. So I don't know if you want to. Yeah, want to make sure we.
Yeah, let's. How much time do we have left in the 2.5 hours?
20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Maybe.
Okay, let's do Ahmed's feedback, And then maybe we can end it with a funny, the one from Robert.
Yeah. Yes,
Robert Tucker.
Valerie, yeah.
Just kidding, Robert. We know your last name's not Tucker. Okay.
There's actually a video for Ahmad.
I know.
Yeah.
In fact, let's see. Should I read what he said first?
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
APG. Okay, this is from Ahmed Dan Hamadou in Nigeria.
Yep.
Hello, APG crew. And he's been a long time listener and supporter of our show.
Tough time lately.
Yeah, he has. Hello, APG crew. Happy New Year. Right. Yes, wait a minute. It's November. Happy New Year, he's telling us.
He's either exceptionally early or very, very, very late.
I think it's kind of late. It's been that long, huh? Just wanted to check in with you guys after such a long time. I've been through a heck of a lot. Heck, I'm still going through a heck of a lot since my wife passed away last year. But not to worry. I'm slowly pulling through thanks to help from my 3 siblings and our gracefully aging mom, who has been staying with me since. All that, plus the great APG show, really helps get me by, even though I'm so extremely busy with Operation Survival, since the economy is still a real mess. Yeah, that's got to be. Sorry. Anyway, thankfully, because the Almighty God is always in charge, we will all get through the rough weather, prevailing hardships. Here's wishing you guys the best always. Cheers. He said, please, P.S., please pardon the somewhat muffled audio quality of the attached video. I used a mic equipped that's not meant for my Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus phone. So he's already warning us that it may not be the clearest feedback. So here we go. Wait a minute. I got to load it up. Because as you said, it's a video.
It is a video.
And here we go. Probably the one that says Ahmad.
Yep.
Open. And add to stage. Here we go.
Hello, fellow APGers. It's Ahmad Dan Hamidi from Abuja, Nigeria. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm still alive. I'm still with you guys, but far behind. Still far behind. And I just want to share this little video with you of my APG bookmark lab, showing how far behind I still am. The life's not been too friendly on my side, but I'm pulling through. So, if you look at the video, you can see where I am and how long I still have to go. And I've been doing a little bit of note taking. Not much to see here. I'm using Google Keep. It's kind of rival to Evernote and Microsoft OneNote. I use Google Keep and Microsoft OneNote mostly. Alright, just wanted to let you guys know I'm still with you guys. Take care. See you later.
Thanks so much, Ahmad. And I just wanted to point out that this Google Keep that he was telling us about has a list of all the episodes that he's listened to. Looks like he's listening now to episode 450, and we're on 639. So it's still a couple hundred episodes behind. But I love the notes he has here. Notable episodes, like APG, he's not sure which one. Second album art switched to third album art or design, featuring a gray-haired Jeff Nielsen avatar, other than the brown-haired version. And the brown-haired version's still out there in various places, but I'm just too lazy to find them all and squash them. And in my mind, I'm still brown-haired. And let's see, which one I think was kind of interesting. Episode 313, this episode features the second theme jingle for APG and the karaoke non-ink spots version of Java Jive for the Coffee Fund segment. Anyway, so he's got a lot of great notes like that. That was kind of fun, just reading through some of these notes.
It's like a little Cliff Notes time capsule.
Yeah. Let's see. APG 272, unveiling of the new APG theme song during the Wings Over Pittsburgh 2017 meetup.
There we go.
And in fact, wow.
Yeah.
Is it coincidence? I'm
using
actually
Can I
wearing.
take this video off now?
Yeah, you can take it off. APG over Pittsburgh. Acme Airlines logo shirt 2017, which I printed up for the participants in that great meetup. That was a long time ago, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so thank you, Ahmad, for.
When you think of what he's got going on in his
Oh, I
life,
know.
it's just fantastic.
He's
that
been
hanging in
through.
there.
He has been through so much. And we are so happy that you're still listening. We're happy that we're able to, give you, some entertainment,
distraction,
and distraction, from all the horrible things that are happening to you.
6 children or something, like a lot.
Yeah,
of
a lot of children, and gosh,
Mm-hmm.
Ahmad, we hope the best for you, and hope
Love you, man.
God shines His face on you, and helps you through this mortal life.
Right.
Okay.
Well said, Jeff.
Yep.
Well said.
Agreed.
Thank you. Which is kind of unusual for me. Let's see. That's why they're so astonished. Last one also is going to have a video associated. Now, it might be hard to understand exactly because, again, the sound source is not the best. I'll do my best to clean it up in post. But what you're listening to, you have to picture in your mind. If you're not going to actually go to the show notes and view this video link, this. I guess it's a lady. I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking that it looks like maybe a guy.
I think she is.
Oh, it's a lady.
Older
Okay.
woman.
An older woman that has obviously this amazingly
Crazy hairdo.
crazy, extravagant, over the top hairdo. Like big hair, I guess you'd call that, right?
Big
like
hair, exactly.
big hair from Texas.
Bouffant.
Yeah. And she has a unique way of expressing herself. And apparently she does like question and answers. And somebody sent her in a question. Her name's Valerie. And I guess what she does here is ask Valerie. So here we go. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Hi, y'all. It's Valerie. I have another question. KK lives loud. She asked me, or he asked me, or them asked me. I don't know who's asking. I hope you live loud, though. Give me your biggest cabin crew scandal. Well, listen, I don't fly into LaGuardia. I don't want to fly to LaGuardia. It's a domestic airport. I'm international. But anyway, I heard, because Sully that landed on the Hudson, the pilot, the miracle on the Hudson, Well, he called me, and I said to him, I've known him for many, many years. And I asked him, I said, why'd you land on the Hudson? And he said to me, Valerie, I didn't want to go back to LaGuardia. You heard it here. Scandalous.
So Valerie actually may be an American Airlines flight attendant still. Currently, it sounded almost as if she was on an airplane. I mean, the background noise, but I don't know, maybe not. But she's saying that she knows Scully has known him for many years, and Scully was an American Airlines. Sully, I'm sorry, not Scully. Scully was the baseball guy. Sorry, Sully was an American Airlines
US
captain.
Airways.
Oh shoot. I guess, should I re-record all this?
No, it's fine.
Just carry on.
Totally fine. Just point over. Just trying to keep us 50%.
Well, I guess now they are American Airlines.
It's all the same like lineage.
Okay, so I was trying to. So I'm thinking that's maybe her connection. Maybe she was U.S. Airways as well.
Probably.
Because she's wearing a uniform in this video and has a little logo that looks like the modern American Airlines logo, doesn't it? Or maybe it's just coincidental.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because U.S. Airways does not exist anymore. It merged and became part of American Airlines.
So basically, I'm an old man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I thought it was fun.
Valerie
Join the club.
Valerie is not a flight attendant, but she works for American Airlines, and she's based at DFW.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm Googled here.
Oh, Liz just Googled it and has the lowdown on who Valerie is. She's not a flight attendant. But but she does work for American Airlines and is based at Dallas-Fort Worth. Is that correct? Did I repeat everything?
That's correct. That's
okay.
what it says. Yeah.
Wow. Can you believe an old 65-year-old like me actually remembered all the things that you just said, Liz? Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Correct.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Almost 66 in about a month, or a little over a month. Okay. So thank you, Robert, in Tucker, Georgia. Thank you so much for sending that in and making us giggle a little bit. He said, he also, wait, that's a different question that he has, isn't it?
Yeah, but he said, what would you guys ask Valerie?
What would we ask Valerie?
I'm going to have to go watch some of her other videos to know, to get a better gist of all the things that get discussed or that she discusses.
You'll revisit that on a subsequent show.
Yeah, we'll get to that question, Robert, I think.
Yeah.
At least I.
And and I was a little confused because Robert also sent us a more serious question regarding the Haiti incident, but we'll cover that on a future episode. So thank you. Keep it coming in, Robert, and everyone else out there. We do appreciate
feedback at Airline Pilot Guide.
Your feedback, and send it to feedback@airlinepilotguide.com. That way we won't miss it. All right. Very good.
Right,
so it's time now to wrap it up. Wrap it up, baby. All right, airlinepilotguide.com is our website. Got a lot of good stuff over there. You should check it out. And we're also on social media. And Steph is going to tell us about that.
We sure are. And I'm actually just going to reiterate, did you already do this? Feedback at airlinepilotguide.com. Just say it a bunch of times so that people send things to the right places. But if social media is your thing in terms of interacting with the community, especially, you can find us on Facebook. Facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. Head over to X at APG Crew and find our individual handles pinned to the top of that page still, I think. If you're just looking for the artwork for each week's show, you can find that on Instagram, Instagram.com/APG Crew. And then if you would like to participate in these live recordings, be part of our live audience, or watch the video version of these recorded episodes, you can head to youtube.com/@airlinepilotguy/streams. And if that's not quite enough, if you need a little bit more, because who doesn't, might I suggest Slack?
Well, who could want more? But this guy here may... Wait, yep, he's always here with me. Hey, hello. Hello, could you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
Well, we're used to it now, so come on over here and sit down and tell us all about it.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and Plain Tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Mind if I use your razor, Jeff?
Yes. I do mind. All right.
You meanie.
Well,
you should probably just get him his own. They're not
well,
that expensive.
You know what? Okay, go ahead. I can change the blade. That's probably really old anyway. Good luck.
I'd check which bit he's going to shave first, Jeff.
Well, I'll be definitely switching it out, so I don't need to know. All right, and let's see. We'd also like to say a big thank you to our producer, who is just awesome.
Hey, well done, Liz.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Don't hear you. You're muted, I think. There you go.
Oh, now I can say it.
Yeah.
Hi, my pleasure. I'm talking like Valerie.
Oh, okay.
Like Valerie,
where's your big hair?
Yeah, my hair isn't big enough, but anyway, my pleasure. Good show.
All right. Had fun, as always. And I guess that will work on my Stream Deck controller. And, thanks to everybody listening, as always, and especially our crew in the live chat. It's always a pleasure to see you all there and hear from you. And anything else we should say before we sign off? No? All right. Wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
Good day.
I used to be such a good pilot till I started APG. I opened doors for little old ladies. I helped them to their seats. Airline pilot guy, I fly Omega. Oh, airline pilot guy, he can land in heavy fog. I got no friends 'cause I'm always flying. I just don't have the time. But I can land this old plane. I can land it just fine. Airline pilot guy, I fly